everybody to a SaltyChillersEntertainment. This is Hero Darkness.
Question numbers.
Valentine.
And Salt Logic.
And today we are discussing, you graduated high school, now what? What are your options after you graduate high school? I'm pretty sure some of you, this is nothing new if you're already in the workforce, and this may be insightful for those who are still in school, or you know someone who is in school, more specifically junior, senior year high school, and they're probably given some thoughts, and we have some ideas that may be beneficial, may help you out. What are you guys' thoughts? Okay, better, yep. I've already graduated high school and I'm currently in schooling right now, going to classes. What about the rest of you?
I'm also in college, taking classes. I myself had went to like a trade school and was doing, that. But between that and work and what I was doing in the trade school, I couldn't do both because one required too much time versus the other. And I eventually began to fall behind because I didn't have the necessary things at home that I needed to actually continue. So I, kind of stopped that and went to working full time.
I went to college and, well, first I had a gap year, and then I went to college, and then I went to trade school, and now I work as a hairstylist. I am a barber at one shop, and at another shop I run a booth, and it's my self-employment, it's my business, and that's what I do now.
Alright, now Rach, what made your decision to go to college versus trade school?
It was the career I was pursuing per se. I never really thought of trade school to begin with. Everybody talks about college, not trade school. But also at the same time, so I didn't know much trade school, to be honest. I still don't know much about trade school. I just know that it's something that you want to learn a trade.
Okay, and then if you don't mind me asking, what exactly degree are you going for in college that you can't get elsewhere?
As of right now, I am going and doing computer science.
Okay, now was there a decision that made you go, oh, computer science, this is what I want to do, or did it just like kind of a natural thing that you just felt like that I have a natural niche for this and let me do this?
It was more of my parents' computer was having technical difficulties, and thus I went computer science. I started learning how to be an IT person just so I can then take care of it. And what that led me to was computer science.
Okay. And was there any not college, but any classes in high school that allowed you to decide to go on this route?
It was my information class. That class there helped me out. Because that's when I was able to dive in and learn about that subject.
Okay, so you were exposed to it and you decided this is something that I wanted to do and pursued.
Yes.
Okay. Now going to Salt, you decided to go work full-time and go to trade school initially. Now you're just working full-time. Was there any decisions that led to that?
Well, part of it was because when I was in the trade school, I was doing part-time in the morning time. So I wasn't there for a full day because of how my work schedule was and things like that. Eventually it got, well, especially not, okay, what I did was I was doing web developer. And that's something I kind of started when I was in high school with a computer class I took. It kind of showed you some things, that you can do. So I decided, because I found that really interesting, and I wanted to know more into the pure backbone of it with the straight up code itself, and not with the help of some program. So I pretty much went in, but eventually got to the point where I kind of was falling behind a little bit on some projects, and overall that hurt my grade to the point where that year after I wasn't able to go back because of it for a while. So from there, I kind of like, well, not having a computer, a decent, okay, not having, yeah, not pretty much not having a computer in general, let alone one that wouldn't freeze up half the time, would make things very difficult to continue things outside of work, outside of school. So there, I just fell behind with what I couldn't do in class, and that's kind of where I decided, I'm like, well, I'll just work full time and then slowly get to the point where I can start getting this back up again, and then hopefully one day go back in and further with where I started. Well, more of starting over at that point, but yeah.
Now, have you made progress or steps to be able to go back into what you're after, or are you still in that process of, oh, things aren't still working out
It's
for me?
it's been slowly but surely. Just when I thought I had a moment, I can. Yeah, financial issues just kind of throughout the time kind of sets things back, but that's what to expect when it's one thing after another.
So
Especially
you,
when you deal with a lot of car issues and things like that, that gets pretty pricey. You gotta get that taken care of, and that really puts you back.
okay. So far, both Rich and Sal here, there's been something that has created an attraction to go after this stuff, which has led to the decision to go into schooling, go to college, or to learn the trade to do something. Thus, the difference of going trade school or going into the college and getting a degree. Now, obviously, Valentine, you know the question. What made you first go to schooling, and now why the hair specialist?
Um, like I said, I took a gap year. I just got a job and lived at home and tried to really figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I decided I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go out of state, and I wanted to go to my parents' alma mater because, I didn't get the best grades my senior year of high school. So I was pretty sure they were the only ones that were going to let me in. So I went to Southern Nazarene and um, did a psychology degree there and did business. And then I realized in college that there's not really a whole lot of stylists that will work with somebody's financial situation. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't pay your stylist what they're worth, but in college to get my haircut, it was going to be anywhere from $45 to $65 because I have long, thick, curly hair, and it's very difficult to work with. And so I thought, I really want to be a person that can make someone feel beautiful no matter if they, barely scrape by or if they can pay me, $300. So I started that and then basically went into hair and learned a lot my first few years, but I've never regretted the decision to go into something that wasn't psychology or anything pertaining to my degree.
You saw a opportunity and decided to take it,
Yeah.
and
And
nothing
I
wrong with
can
that.
literally work anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's also a beauty of some of the degrees or some of the trades that people learn is you can go anywhere and be anywhere. There are
Hmm.
degrees out there, believe it or not, that can make just as much money as those who have a 4-year degree. One example, and you wouldn't think of it, but people work on air conditioning and work on repairing those things. Yeah, hours may not be the greatest, but you bring in money and you are making money equivalent to a 4-year degree, easily around $60,000-$50,000 a year plus.
Which is
So
precisely the reason why I'm requiring my son to get a trade while he's in high school. Usually, you can go to a vocational school for severely discounted or free if you're in high school. So I want him to get a trade license so that when he gets out of high school and he has this question in front of him, what do I do? He has something to fall back on and he's not going to starve.
yeah, and another thing I would recommend as well for people, if you're unsure of your path, there are tests out there. I think they're called aptitude tests, where you take the test and be honest with it as you're taking the test, and you're going to find answers that, hey, I really work best in this type of field. And it will open your eyes. You're like, I should go in to this field because the best thing to do is find a job that you'll enjoy to do. And you'll be happy about it, and you'll never feel like you worked a day in your life.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like that, but you beat me to it.
Yeah.
And
And I'm
Which,
an artist, it's my passion.
and another thing, if you're going into college, I don't care what degree you're pursuing, but think about what does that degree offer you post college. Is this degree a degree that I can make a comfortable living off of? Is this a degree that can actually support me after college and I can put what I learned to use?
Going off of that, no. Also, is the field saturated? Is it overpopulated? Is it growing? Because that's something I think about. If I'm going to college for 4+ years for said degree, is it 4 years later still a career that could be worth it? Because if you're pursuing a career that's now getting saturated and those set people, you just wasted 4+ years of your life getting said career.
And not to mention now you get this pile of student debt that you have to pay because you couldn't always make your payments on time and you had to pull out a couple loans.
And no, that's something else we could cover if we choose to go down that rabbit hole. But no, talking about careers and jobs, I'm in college. I get a summer job. But here's another thing is I also found a summer job that if I wanted to, it makes a good amount of money. I'm bringing in over the course of summer, I should be able to cover a semester of college or half a semester of college, which is good for the course of the summer. That is glorious for the course of the summer.
Yeah, and with that, having, and we'll discuss this more in detail on things you can do with the finances as you're going to your schools. Another thing to keep in mind, as Rich was pointing out, what is the expected growth rate of your field in the next 4 or 5+ years? Is it going to be a fast growth rate? Is it going to be a slow growth rate? Because if it's going to be fast, then you've hit a field that is in demand and is in a need, and you're going to find a job. Now, also be mindful of that. Are these jobs entry level going to allow you to go up and do what you want? Or are you going to be stuck at a certain point? Hopefully, you'll learn tips and tricks on how to get the job and then how to get yourself to move up the ladder. Because not every job is going to do that for you. Now, as far as me personally, I'm currently in college, and the degree I've opted for initially didn't work out for me. And so now I'm sitting and reconsidering something and using some time to think what is really the best career option for me. And yes, trade school has come to in conversation about stuff and learning Yeah or no? And if yes, what career or what trade do I want? And if no, what degree? Because I'm at a point in my life where 2 years is what's left for me as far as schooling is concerned. And I would highly encourage everyone, if you're in high school at this moment, take different classes that you need in order to move forward. Take different classes that will expose you to something medicine or to something like Rich is saying, get IT, or there's what Val has gone through or what Salt has gone through, the web design, the psychology, something that exposes you. And if you're excited when you're taking the class, you're looking forward to it, or you're intrigued, or you find that you have a natural knack for it, go for it. And then there's another trade skill that brings in a lot of money as well, and that's welding.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think, but it does.
But overall, yeah, you want to find something you enjoy. Well, let's take a step back and think about college. College is also expensive. It really is. You think about it, you're paying. It's like some people sink about $30,000 in college each year.
Depending on the university, I would say, being kind of conservative, your best bet is you're spending roughly 20,000 for an academic school year for both fall and spring semesters. And that's a question you have to ask yourself. Is my career worth that much money a year for what I'm going into?
That is really something to think about. Is this truly worth the money I'm putting in? Because, going in and repairing air conditioning, taking care of being a salesman, selling pest control, or being a technician doing pest control, or stuff on that line. Those are also good options without going to college. There's many things out there that doesn't require college that you can still make just as much money as if you did go to college, but they also require a lot of hard work. So it's the price of college equal to the amount you need to do.
Now, here's a question. Is college for everyone?
I say no.
I would agree with Rich on that.
Ditto.
Okay, college is not for everyone. What advice, which direction would you point them at so that way they can make the most of life? Because people say, and studies will tell you, that those who don't go to college are going to make far less in life and they're not going to do as well in life as compared to those who go to college. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
It's about 50-50 in my opinion.
I disagree.
Just yes, you may go to college, but you may get, your degree and stuff like that, but that doesn't entirely mean that you're going to make more or exponentially more than somebody else. And even then, you have to look how a person will handle or treat, their income and financial situations like that. And the person with a degree may not be the smartest person when it comes to that versus someone who quite doesn't. And yeah.
Okay. And what you're saying, if I'm understanding what you're saying, Saul, is the degree that the persons want to pursue in college may not be worth the money, and it hurts them long run, versus someone who doesn't go to college and they find a job that will allow them to get and be better off in the long run.
In the simple terms, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what you want to go into, though. Like, if you want to go into computer science or anything in computers or cybersecurity, you're guaranteed to make some pretty good money. And, a degree helps with that. But at the same time, like with my degree now, I would be making starting level $25,000 a year at a social service job, which is the job that hires you with the degree that I have. That's $13 an hour. I make base probably 18 to $25 an hour doing hair. And I didn't even have to go to college for it. I had to go to school for a year, graduate, pass my tests, and here I am.
Right now, I'm not selling. I'm a technician for a pest control company. Depends on how much I move and do a yard, because I get paid per yard. Depends on average. If I do the move this right, I can make about 20 bucks an hour. But when I finish my set amount of yards for the day, I'm done for the day. So the faster I move, the sooner I get done. So some days I'm done by 1, 2 o'clock, making maybe $150. Some other days, I'm working till and still making the exact same amount of money.
Because his job, sometimes he has appointments and they say be here at this time, and he has no control over that. But regardless of the time of that appointment, he is still guaranteed to bring in the same amount of money for that yard service that he's doing for the pest control.
Right.
And people make livings off of that. People make living providing yard care services, and they bring in the money because they charge it by the yard and not by the hour. And those are things to consider as well. And right now, for those of you who are in high school, these are things to consider, because I would highly encourage, for those who are thinking college route, have your plan of what you want to major in and focus in on it. Yes, still have fun in college, enjoy the time there, but focus in on it. Focus in and think, if I study every day while I'm in college and I pull off the grades that I need, then I'm going to make this much money in the long run. Sometimes a little sacrifice now will help you out in the long run. And Valentine brings up a good point. If you get your degree, sometimes it's best to go into your degree field right away. But if passion drives you elsewhere, don't be afraid to do that and enjoy what you do. Because I'm kind of on the fence with some things that's brought up. I don't agree that not every single field is worth the college degree, and you're better off going into a trade school. And I don't agree that, yeah, and just because you go to college doesn't mean you're entitled. Because getting hired on is a whole different process. What other things or thoughts do you guys have on college? Is it right for me? And how do you know it's right for you?
That one sounds more like a personal conversation with yourself more than trying to explain to somebody. It's one of those ones you have to take a deep look at yourself and then what's all going on, and if you can be able to handle it, because not everybody can be able to handle going to college. So you have to be able to stop, look at yourself. Are you able to handle it?
Because college can be stressful.
And if you're a person that don't do well with stress, you're probably not gonna have a good time, and probably will suffer ultimately.
And
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, no lie there. And another thing to keep in mind as well, there ain't no mama, no daddy making sure you get to class. Ain't nobody waking you up. Because you'll have roommates and they're like, psh, I got my own problems to worry
They won't
about.
always care.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I had gotten good roommates so far.
And yes, there's other things that are on campus that it's like, yeah, I want to join, I want to do. Take a good hard
Join all the
look.
clubs.
Take a good hard look at where you want to be. Because where you're at now in college, it's temporarily. Think about where you want to be 5 years from now, 4 years from now.
I mean, that being said, I also agree with have fun in college too, because I really like, I do not regret going to college at all. Like, I don't regret all the money I have to pay them because, I mean, I met people that I still talk to today that, like, if I'm ever in their state, like, we meet up and we have coffee or we grab a beer and we like catch up. Some of my best memories were in college. So if you do decide to go that route, which it's hard work, but I was also involved in SGA, which is the student government, and just join stuff and have fun too.
Yes, because I will say this: don't be, don't be all hard work and no play, because that makes Jack and no ball, or Jack and no play. Don't be that guy. Nobody likes
You'll
that
burn
guy.
out. You'll burn out.
It's okay to go and have fun. Go to the sporting events that you like. Go and do fun stuff, because you're going to thank yourself later for it. Because you're going to.
That's where you can follow
But
your friends and just goof off and be yourself.
but keep in mind, you don't want to let that take over and you start slacking on
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, do
Because
not
So,
succumb to peer pressure.
because if you're the guy who slacks off all the time and you know who you are, you slack off in college, you flunk out of college, it then makes it difficult to continue your said career. So if you're
oh
not
yeah,
of the people who
Mhm.
spend time
high school's a
college
one-time.
life.
Now, I will say this from personal experience: getting that notification that you're on academic probation is not a fun feeling. And then when you thought you did well and then you didn't, and find out you can no longer go to the school that you were going to, it it's a huge bummer, and you're like, oh. And then trying to find a university that you will hope maybe will accept you is another challenge. So yes, have fun, but be smart. Do well in high school, because you need to do well in high school, because high school
Mhm.
will help you set things up for the future, but still find time to have fun, because Rich was still in during the semester as we're doing these things, and he had to balance it out. He had to say, guys, let me know when we're doing this, so that way I can plan accordingly. And if we didn't let him know, well, then how could he plan accordingly?
Yeah, because I had to balance my college life and this. And my spending time with my friends, because I spent too much time going with these people, I couldn't spend time with my friends I made at college. If I was spending too much time with both, I couldn't study the grades I need to stay after college. Like I said,
Right.
college is a balance in life. You have to have the money to do it. You got to make sure the career pursuit is worth it. There's a lot of things that go to college. We're not trying to. Our purpose isn't here trying to say don't go to college. Well, this is the stuff we have experienced, and our experience with college of what you have to do.
And as Salt said, this is a very personal question that only you can answer. Only you can answer, is college right for me? And if you feel that it is, pursue that dream. Go find that impossible star, regardless how far it needs to go or what it is. Follow it, because that's your dream. That's nobody else's dream. Anyone else have
Can
any
I, can I,
other
th- can I
thoughts?
throw some, can I throw something in real quick?
Go ahead.
I don't know if this can relate to anything, but just like some of the older Pokemon games, if you try to ride a bike inside of a building, you'll have a message pop up. There's a time and place for everything. Now's not the time. Think about that if you're, in college and whatnot, with our past short little talk we just did. Keep that in mind. Just ask yourself if it's really worth the time to be doing this versus other things.
Yeah. Does Rich or Valentine have any other thoughts they would like to add?
Nope.
I'm good.
Alright, guys, with Salt thoughts, there is a time and place for everything. It's learning and finding those right places and time for everything. Enjoy where you're at, have fun with where you're at, and think about it. And if you feel college and your degree is the right degree to go pursue, then go after it. If it's not, then think of another way to achieve that same goal and have fun along the way. This has been a Salty Chillers Entertainment podcast. If you like what you've been hearing or the discussions that we've had, feel free to check our other discussions that we have. Feel free to hit that like button or comment. And hey, if you want to keep up to date with all our latest stuff, hit that subscribe button with that bell, because YouTube's weird like that. If you don't hit that bell, you ain't going to keep up very well with our cool stuff that we drop. So this is Hero Darkness.
Which numbers?
Valentine.
And Salt Logic.
And as always, guys, stay salty.